In this video, I'll be showing you an IBM Thinkpad 390E and all the accessories that are included. This one here has a Pentium 2 300 processor and 160 megabytes of RAM, a 32 megabyte stick, as well as 128 megabytes added. It has a 13.3 inch active matrix screen. First, I'll show the laptop and then the accessories that are included, and then we'll start it up and see the custom configuration for DAW's games that's been added to the system. The laptop itself is in very good condition for the age. The keyboard works great, all of the keys work, the IBM track point screen is in good condition. This one here has no stickers on it or any residue other than a few marks on the case. It's in excellent condition. The hinges work well. This one has a floppy drive and CD drive built in, PCMCIA slots, a actual volume dial on the side. All of the panels are in place on this one. These are usually go missing, but this is the cover for the, I think it's either a PS2 or keyboard connector, and also a USB port is on this one. There is a nickel metal hydride battery, which is for the most part dead. It does run usually for a minute or two. It's enough if you happen to unplug it and move it to plug it back in again, but it's not really to be considered a functional battery. On the back, we have the standard ports, PS2 mouse port, serial port, VGA, and the power connector. On the bottom, again, there's no sticker peel off or residue. There is one property sticker that's still on the bottom. And one unique modification that's been made to this one is, in place of the standard hard drive, it's been replaced with, just 1 second, it's hard to do this with one hand. The hard drive cover is there, but in place of the standard hard drive, it has been modified with a compact flash adapter. So this is actually, it has two 2 gigabyte compact flash cards. So you get 4 gigabytes in total, two 2 gigabyte partitions for a C and a D drive. Alright, so let's take a look at the accessories that are included. We have 2 original IBM PS2 mice. This black one here, both of these are in really good condition. The balls have been cleaned and they function well. The other one is what was considered a portable IBM mouse at the time. It's slightly smaller than the other one. There is a VGA cable, a null modem cable. If you happen to have another older laptop or desktop, you can link them together with this cable on the serial port and play network sort of games. There's a bunch of CD software included, which we'll look at in a minute once the laptop is fired up. There's a couple of USB sticks. This one has backups of a few thousand DAW's games. This one here is an 8 gigabyte stick that's been formatted for the laptop and for DAWs. So there is 4 2 gigabyte partitions. With this one, you can actually plug it into any new Windows or Mac computer and copy files over to it, and then you can plug it into the laptop and copy them over to DAWs. There's 2 compact flash adapters and an additional 2 gigabyte compact flash card, which you can insert into one of these, put it into the laptop, and use that as well to back up or copy files. Original DAW's 6.22 floppy disks, all 3 of them. These floppy disks have backups of some of the system utilities. including some of the DOS and Windows 3.1 drivers. The first one here is sort of a recovery boot disk. It has all the essential utilities that are on the hard drive in case you ever need to boot it from floppy. There's about a dozen new 1.44 floppies, including unused sticker labels. These are CMOS backup batteries, clock batteries, in case you ever need to replace it. It's easy to replace them through a panel on the bottom, but there's lots of them, so it should hopefully last for years, keeping the clock date and the BIOS settings fine. Also included is an IBM original USB floppy drive. So although the laptop has a floppy drive built in, if you ever want to make any floppy images or copy some software, this is a USB drive, so you can plug it into most new Windows and Mac computers, and you can run floppy disks on them and copy over software. It also has the original IBM Velcro storage case for that. And of course, there's an original IBM power adapter. So I'll cut the video for a second here, then we'll fire up the laptop and take a look at how it's been configured. Now that it's been plugged in, let's fire it up and take a look at how the software has been custom configured. Again, this is a Pentium 2 300 with 160 megabytes of RAM and a 13.3-inch active matrix screen. The CMOS battery's recently been replaced, but there are spares with it if you ever want to reinstall it. So the custom configuration, when you first start it up, by default after a few seconds it'll go into normal mode, which has all of the menu and the games installed. This machine, although it will run Windows 98 just fine, it's been fully configured as more of a retro DOS gaming system, so the focus is more on DOS and Windows 3.1 software. So the two other menu options which have been configured here, if you choose PCMCIA at startup, you can put the compact flash card into either one of these adapters, and you can insert it into the side and boot it up, and it'll assign a drive letter to whatever card is installed. The other option, which is really handy, is this is one of the earliest laptops to have a USB port, and this 8 gigabyte USB stick is partitioned for DAWs, so you can put this into any modern computer, copy files over, and then be able to access them when you boot up the laptop. The USB 1 port in this will support most sticks 8 or 16 gigabytes, as long as you format them with 2 gigabyte FAT16 partitions. So we'll put this into the side, like so, and then we'll choose the USB startup option. In order to enable the port, we just press enter. It starts up the USB controller, and I have it set to automatically go into a file management interface for DAWs. So from here, we can access the floppy drive, the main hard drive, the secondary drive. Of course, these are actually compact flash cards, 2 of them that are installed. The other drive letters here are assigned to the USB stick, E through H. Each one of these is a 2 gigabyte partition. The 4th partition actually has a backup of the entire hard drive off the laptop if you ever need it to recover it. But this makes it easy to copy some files over, and then you can copy them over to the hard drive. I do have the mouse plugged in here. If the mouse isn't plugged in, you can use the track point. So I'll reboot it now, and then we can take a look at the actual DAWs setup that's on the system. The AutoExec and config sys files have been fully optimized for this system with all of the drivers and also optimized for memory management. So there really shouldn't be any issues launching any sort of games or software with it. These ThinkPads were one of the last ones that IBM made that has full DAWs support for example, for the sound card. It's Sound Blaster compatible, and it doesn't require a Windows driver like some of the later ones. Any DAWs game will detect this as a standard Sound Blaster 16 compatible card. So the software that's installed on here, there's quite a few different games and applications that have been installed, and it's running through this menu system called Launchbox for DAWs. So I'll just scroll through the pages of software that are installed onto here. Any of the ones that are noted with CD in the title, there's an accompanying CD, and we'll take a look at some of these. For example, that is Space Quest 4, Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, Rebel Assault 2, 2 discs, TIE Fighter, The Dig, Day of the Tentacle, Sam and Max Hit the Road, Descent 2, Myst for Windows 3.1, King's Quest 6, there is a Windows 98 boot disk, The Seventh Guest, CD 1 and 2, Star Trek Judgment Rights, and Star Trek 25th Anniversary. And then there's some extra blank CDs if you have another system and you ever want to burn some ISO files, those are included. Most of these discs are burned discs, but they have full color covers that have been printed and applied. Seventh Guest, however, these are original discs because it's not able to be played off of a burn one, so it's nice to actually have these. They're getting pretty rare to find. These are actual copies of The Seventh Guest. All right, back to the menu. I'll try to load up a few of these games one-handed here. So, of course, we have the ever-popular Duke Nukem 3D. I won't even attempt to play these with one hand. And when all the games are done playing, it returns to the menu system. What else do we have here? Doom, Doom 2. Wolfenstein 3D, Commander Keen, Goodbye Galaxy, of course. Okay, let's take a look at some of the CD software that's included. So let's start with one that has a full talkie game, which is Space Quest 4. So CD drive is on the side. Sometimes you have to push the button twice to get it to eject, but it works fine. We'll put the CD in. And then we'll find it on the menu here. Space Quest 4. Okay, skip.
Now where am I? You wonder aloud to non-existent auditory organs? This place sure looks homey. Hey, wait, this looks just like Xenon. It is Xenon. It's, along with the changes induced by an what's happened? A brightly colored mechanical hair wanders about.
See ya on the Chronos.
And let's try Star Trek Judgment Rights.
Space, the final frontier.
Load a previously saved game. Yes, quit the game.
And it also has Windows 3.1 installed with a full driver set. So it'll use the full, I believe it's 1280 or 1024 resolution, one of the two. And all of the sound drivers are installed as well. There's a few Windows 3.1 games here. For example, Myst, which is the CD is included, and The Incredible Machine, and then a few other Microsoft Entertainment Pack games. So as I mentioned before, this machine is fully capable of running Windows 98, but the setup was intended to be used as a DOS retro gaming system. And of course the floppy drive works fine too. This recovery disk will boot with all of the DOS drivers that are included, and even give you access to the USB. I'll quickly boot from the floppy just so that you can see that it's working. And from here, you have access to the C and the D compact flash partitions. Thanks for taking a look.